So, unfortunately, I recorded the whole video and did not record the sound. I had to restart it and now it works. So, I only brought one packet home, so I'm just going to show you what I've already wrote in. We're going to get into series today, and today's will be pretty easy. We've spent a lot of time before break on sequences, and you should have reviewed that a little bit yesterday, and we're going to move on to series now. So you should be writing this in your packet that you have, and you should have this on hand. If not, you'll need to copy this down on paper, and I can make you some copies. But for your NTI assignment, you will have to post a picture showing that you took the notes. So a series. A series is the sum of the terms in a sequence. What does series mean? Or what does sum mean? Sorry, sum means to add. So a series is when we have a list of numbers. A sequence is just a list of numbers. When we talk about a series, it's when we take those numbers and we add them together. All right, so, and I've already wrote on this, you can fill this in, but the difference when you're just looking at the list, on your test, you might have a list of numbers that looks like this and one that looks like this, and you say which one is the sequence, which one is the series. Well, the one that's just separated by commas, that's just a list, that is your sequence. It's when you take those numbers and you add them together that gets you your series. Same thing over here. If you start with numbers being added together, that's a series. Just a list of those is a sequence. Now, when we look at the pattern from a 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, you're adding 1 every time. So that means it's an arithmetic sequence. This one would be a geometric sequence because you multiply by 2 every time. But when we talk about a series, regardless of if it's arithmetic or geometric or neither, when we say something about a series, we're taking those numbers and adding them. So even over here, from 6 to 12 to 24, you multiply by 2. When we do the series, we take those numbers and add them together. Now, some notation that you'll need to know and be able to pick out. When you see A6, sorry, this is the notation that you've seen all unit long. A6 means find the number or find the term that is sixth down the list. What is the sixth term? But when you have an S, and generally it's going to be a capital S, S6 means we're going to find the sum of the first 6 terms. So we're going to have the first 6 numbers and we're going to add them all together. Now, this right here is also the Greek word or the Greek symbol for sigma. And in math, sigma is a way to say sum. So you could see S6, you could see this sigma notation. And when you have sigma notation, it's got everything you need to be able to answer it. It's got a formula and it's got some other stuff in it, which we'll look at. So here is sigma notation. Sorry, right here. It's going to look something like this. You're going to have an N equals on the bottom, a number on the top, and then you're going to have something here. Well, over here, that is a formula. And we talked about explicit formulas with arithmetic and geometric. It's going to be the same thing. Now, this number on the bottom, that tells you that's the term number you're going to start with. So you're going to have a formula, and it's going to say you're going to start with A1. You're going to start with the first term, and you're going to end with the fifth. We're not going to add forever. We're only going to add the first term up through the fifth term. Okay, so we're going to start with on bottom. It will almost always be n equals 1, but I can't promise you that it will be. So if it has n equals 2, then you just start with A2. And I'll show you what I mean with that below. So when you see this question down here, number 1, you've got sigma n equals 1 and then a 5. And then over here you have n minus 1. Okay, that n minus 1 is your formula. I am going to find the first term. I'm going to find the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth. I'm going to stop on the fifth term, and then I'm going to add those together. So this problem right here means we're going to find the sum. Sigma means sum of the first 5 terms. Okay, well, how do we even do that? Well, A1, your n is 1. So you're going to plug a 1 in there, and you get 0. Okay. Then you're going to do A2. A2, your n is 2. You're going to do 2 minus 1, which is 1. Then you're going to find A3. You're going to plug in a 3 for n. 3 minus 1, 2. Then you're going to do A4. You're going to plug in a 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. And then you're going to find A5. You're going to plug in a 5 for n. 5 minus 1 is 4. And that tells you your first 5 terms. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to find the sum of them. We're going to add those numbers together. And that's going to give you 10. Now, this next problem, we see sigma, which means sum. This is sigma right here. That means find the sum. And we're going to start with the first term and go all the way up to the 4th term. Actually, I'm just going to write on this paper. So I'm going to be finding A1, A2, A3, and A4. So we start with 1, we go all the way up to 4. And how am I going to find those? I'm going to plug in a 1, a 2, a 3, and a 4. So I'm going to do 5 times 1 plus 12. And you can use Desmos. You can use the app on your phone that's handy is this Calculate 84. It looks just like the TI-84s. You can use your phone right now, but this is going to give you 17. And then you're going to do 5 times 2 plus 12. Notice we're only replacing the n. And you're going to get 22. And then we're going to find A3. We're going to do 5 times 3 plus 12. And that's going to give you 27. And we're going to find A4. 5 times 4 plus 12. And that's going to give you 32. Now, these are your first 4 terms in the list. This is like the sequence 17, 22, 27, 32, and so on. When you see sigma, that means find the sum. So we're going to be doing 17 plus 22 plus 27 plus 32. You type that into your calculator and you'll get 98. Which you can see I've already done right there. Now, I want you to pause the video and see if you can do number 3. Notice This time your n is in the exponent. So when you go plug in your 1, 2, and 3, make sure it's in the exponent. And you're only finding the first 3 terms. So you only need to do a 1, a 2, and a 3. Okay. You should have ended up with an answer of 14. A1 is 2. A2 gives you 4. When you plug in a 2 for n, you get 4. When you plug in a 3 for n, you get 8. And when you add all those together, that equals 14. Now, the last thing we're going to do really just deals with practicing the notation. So here on number 4, I gave you a sequence, and it says find S5. Okay, what does S5 mean? If you go back to the previous page, that means find the sum of the first 5 terms. So it's kind of like having sigma, right? And having n equals 1 and then 5 on top. But the difference is, instead of a formula, you just have the list of numbers here. So here you notice I've put a box around the first 5 numbers. We don't have to do any special formula. There they are. And we're going to do 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8. And that's going to give you 30. So S5 is 30. There we go. The sum, S5, the sum of the first 5 terms is 30. Now, number 5, notice I gave you a sequence, okay, but I said find A3. When you see A3, that just means the third term. We're not adding anything together. It's just the third term, which I've circled. This is the first, the second, and the third. So A3 is just -4. That's easy. Now, I want you to try the last 2 problems on your own. So pause the video and try those. And this is what you should have. Number 6, the 4th term, which is 40. And then 7 is the sum of the first 6 terms, which gives you 364. Hopefully, I see you all very soon. Bye.